this is Felissa Rose. I'm Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to Rock Video Rental.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Rock Video Rental. I am Brandon, and with me as always is Caleb, and we are continuing on with Rocktober Part 6, and we're going to be talking about Slaughter High today. It is from 1985, and it is directed by
some guy.
George Dugdale, Mark Ezra, and Peter Mackenzie Lytton. 3 directors.
Interesting.
Yeah. The plot is 8 people are invited to their alma mater for their 10-year reunion where a fellow former student, disfigured from a prank gone wrong, is out to seek revenge. Of the cast, we got Caroline Munro as Carol, Simon Scudamore as Marty, Carmine Anacion, I'm guessing is how you say it, as Skip, Donna Yeager as Stella, Gary Martin as Joe, Billy Hartman as Frank, Michael Safran as Ted, John Siegel as Carl, Kelly Baker as Nancy, and Sally Cross as Susan.
And the last one would be Josephine Scandy as Shirley, I think.
Okay.
I think does that because I think that covered all the kids then.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the rest is just like the
Side
staff
characters.
and
Yeah. This is one of those movies, we've talked about this a few times this month so far, of when you go to a rental place and you see a VHS cover
yes.
of a skeleton with a graduation cap on, holding an apple that's a bomb. It's a visual that I'll always think of.
Yeah. Nope, definitely interesting artwork for that one. So
Yeah. I've seen this one a handful of times. I think I own it on
okay.
DVD somewhere. I think I used to have it on VHS as well. Yeah, I've watched this a few times. I saw it on Joe Bob's Last Drive-In a couple times. And yeah, I feel like it's a kind of a above average slasher. It's got some things going for it. Uh it's also got some slower parts in it as well. But
Dude, it took over 40 minutes for the first person to die.
yeah, exactly. At least like at the beginning you get that long setup of okay, what drives this Marty character to kill, you know?
Yeah.
And they do like the worst prank ever to him.
Well,
Like
it's like never ending.
yeah, it's like a marathon. So like Caroline Monroe's character tricks him into going to the shower with her, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do it in the shower," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he's all excited, and um, after he gets in the shower, she's like, "Well, I'll get in after you." So he strips down, gets in, and then they open up the curtain, and they're like taking pictures of him and stuff while he's standing there naked, and they're chanting, "Where's the beef at?" So then he like scrambles to get a towel. He goes and grabs the towel rack, and it electrocutes him because some idiot has a car battery hooked up to it.
Yeah, what the heck? In
Yeah,
a
whoa.
bathroom shower area.
Yeah, and then they give him a swirly. Oh man. A part of that made me laugh really was Marty trying to put a condom on when he's in the shower, and he's like
Yeah.
blowing it up like a balloon.
Mm.
And then I was like, what the heck kind of condom is that? It's got like tentacles on it.
I don't know. That was a weird one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about. But then like they're laughing at him and everything and poking fun at him, and he's like freaking out, and then the coach comes in and he breaks it up, and now like all the bullies have to like stay and do push-ups and run laps and everything
Hmm.
as punishment. So they set up another trap for Marty because they didn't prank him and humiliate him enough.
Yeah.
That Marty's like in the lab working on stuff, and they give him like like a joint, and I'm like, sure, that's really what I would do is take this from a guy who completely and utterly humiliated me.
Hmm.
So he's got like the Bunsen burner on, and he lights the joint, and it starts like, but they put like fireworks in it or something because it like pops.
Yeah, I don't know. And then it was
And then
making him
he's
sick.
choking on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get like this shot every once in a while of this bottle of nitric acid that of course is teetering on the edge of a tall
Shelf. Yeah.
shelf. Yeah. And my thought was, who puts a bottle of nitric acid on the highest shelf on the edge with no cap on it?
Hmm.
Of course, we get the setup of that. Things start catching on fire. Marty gets on fire and he's trying to put it out and he bumps the um shelf. The nitric acid falls off and it like explodes in his face. And now he like his face is like melting, he's in the flames and like everybody goes to like save him. Um and then it's like your typical boom 10 years later.
Yeah.
But and we get an obligatory shower scene because it's a slasher movie and someone has to get naked and take a shower, even though you don't see anything.
Yeah. Well, no, there'll be plenty more for that later.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh, and then like the one thing I noticed too, and I saw that you noticed it in the notes, is like how low is that water pressure in Carolyn Monroe's shower?
yeah, I've lived in some places that have had bad water pressure, but man, that was that was something else.
Dude, the house I'm in now, like we had horrible water pressure. Like we would hook up one of those ring-shaped sprinklers for the kids,
Hmm.
and the water would only shoot up like a foot. That's how bad our water pressure was. And then he went through our street and replaced all the feeder lines
Hmm.
because we had a galvanized one that was almost rusted shut.
Okay.
So now we have like crazy pressure. But yeah, that's what it made me laugh noticing that with the shower. And then it also made me think of this episode of Seinfeld where they put in low flow pressure um shower heads. And Jerry's dad just like, low flow? Well, I don't like the sound of that. And that's what it made me think of. Uh, and then the whole setup for this is like, oh, we're having a class reunion, and then it made me think, do people have class reunions anymore? Like people our age don't have class reunions.
No, they do. Well,
They
at least
do?
they
Oh,
try. Um, because what 20 years ago was, or 20 was this year, I think,
yeah,
for me, or
2025.
last
Yeah.
year. Yeah, no, this year. And they tried. They put something together and they sent out information, and I halfway kind of considered about it, but then they were making it like it was gonna be like $200 to go.
Jeez.
And I was just like, no.
Yeah, my class apparently just didn't give a crap because I
Yeah.
graduated same year as you, so
Yeah, well they did
no one tried.
they tried harder for the 10-year one. But yeah, the 20-year they just like sent out. I don't even know. Somebody I know was thinking about going. I don't know if they did. So it'd be kind of interesting to hear what actually happened. So
I feel like old people have class reunions, and people our age and younger just have Facebook.
yeah.
Like you
Basically.
can literally just talk to the people in your class if you want to, and you can
Mm.
see what they're up to and what they're doing. So, what's the point of spending money and going to a party no one wants to be at?
Yeah, if it was something where it's just like you didn't really have to spend money and it's just like, oh, there's gonna be a bunch of people that you went to high school with that might be there, and then be like, oh, okay. I mean, there are a couple people I'd be interested in to bumping into and maybe chatting with. But when they were
Yeah.
talking about, well, that I'm not going to get into it. There's other backstory stuff too with like our class and how some stupid stuff. So,
Oh man. Yeah.
but nothing quite
Oh
like pranks gone wrong.
no. And revenge.
Yeah,
So
and
they
then
show up at this school that's in the middle of nowhere,
yeah,
and there's like no one there, and it's dark, and they're like, let's just go in. And it was about that point in the movie where I'm like, is this the music for this movie good?
I it fit.
Some of it was
Yeah.
good, and I'm gonna say towards the end was great.
Yes. I would probably agree with you, and I think you're kind of saying like if it started off different and finished the way that it did, it would be better. But with it going throughout the whole thing at the same level of intensity, I guess I would say it was a little jarring, abrasive, maybe. But like by the end, yeah, it's just like, okay, this fits. Like this is working. Where at the beginning it was kind of, I don't know, stood out, maybe not exactly a good way.
Yeah, like when they're having the party and that song that keeps playing, it's like bow bow. It's really weird. That plays like constantly in this movie. Harry Manfredini did the music for this. He also did the music for the first Friday the 13th movie.
Okay. There
Yeah.
was something at one point that sounded like a Friday the 13th
Yeah.
knockoff.
Yeah, and I'll get to that when I get to trivia and facts because I think it's towards the end, the final chase and everything
Okay.
is where that comes into play. Um, and then while they're there, people start getting killed off one by one. A couple things I noticed. I'll get into kills a little bit later. Um, Couple things I noticed. The dude that plays Skip,
Hmm.
I said Steve Perry from Journey calls and he wants his look back. Had like the same haircut, same shape face, kind of big nose,
you
tall,
know,
kind of skinny guy. Yeah.
who he kind of reminded me of was oh man, the guy from Parks and Rec, Leslie Nope's boyfriend.
Oh, Adam Scott.
Yeah. It was a
Derek
little
from
bit.
Step Brothers.
Yep. Not obviously
Uh,
not identical, but like if you were to replace it, he has a very similar look.
he looks very similar to the actor Griffin Dunn as well. Griffin Dunn was in a decent amount of like 80s movies. He was in American Werewolf in London. He was in After Hours, which is a really interesting movie that we might have to cover sometime. That's considered like a yuppie nightmare. He like goes on a date with this random girl and she ends up being like super wild and like his it's one of those one crazy night kind of movies where a bunch of stuff happens and he like gets into trouble, finds his way out and like all this other stuff. It's pretty decent movie. I think um I think Martin Scorsese made that movie. If
Hmm.
I remember right. He was giving me big Steve Perry from Journey feels. Um the guy who plays Marty, I thought did a pretty good job acting. I thought he was one of the stronger ones. Uh, especially with the stuff
Oh,
towards the beginning and the stuff at the end.
yeah. No, he did good, and I thought Nancy was one of the stronger ones too.
Yeah, and I mean, Caroline Munro is probably the biggest name in this. She did a lot of horror stuff. She did a fair amount of Hammer horror films, which were like British gothic horror films, like the Christopher Lee Dracula movies and stuff.
Okay.
She did a fair amount of that stuff. She was in a few kind of like slasher giallo style movies, but I've seen her in a fair amount of things. Uh, Gosh, what is this one? I can't think of the last horror film. I think it's called. It's got her and Joe Spinell in it, and he's like, she's an actress, and he's like a guy who was completely obsessed with her.
Hmm.
It's a pretty interesting movie, but I think she did a pretty decent job as Carol. Um, I think where this movie really shines is the variety of kills.
Yeah.
I thought they were all handled pretty well, and like there's really no two that are exactly the same unless the two people were together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll give it props for. And I mean, with that, I can get into the kills. We get Digby, who is the janitor. He gets impaled through the back of the head by a coat hook.
Yeah. Why did he have to die?
Right? He was just kind of there taking care of the place.
He didn't do anything.
No, they had to have a token black character, I guess, to kill off
Uh,
first.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, you know how that is in horror movies. Um, I mean, that kill was kind of aped later in uh one of the Halloween movies. I just realized. But Ted is tricked into drinking acid and then it like melts his insides. That one's brutal.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't melt. It like explodes his insides.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
April
and then
Fools.
we get yeah, April Fools.
Got you
And then we
good.
got him. Then we got Carl is impaled through the back with a sword in a car. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Shirley is melted in a bathtub full of acid, and that one's brutal.
Yeah.
That one's handled really well. But I also wonder why there was like a full-on bathtub at the school.
Yes. It was a very weird school.
I mean, like showers I get, but I don't think I've ever seen a bathtub in a school.
I don't think so either.
And you get Joe is eviscerated, but with a lawnmower, and then a car is dropped on him. Stella is electrocuted through a metal bed frame with Frank while they're doing it. That whole sex scene was really awkward too.
Hmm.
And it made me laugh too, because when she screams when she dies, like one of the characters is like, wow, I guess she really needed it. That made me laugh this time, and I never picked up on that one before. Susan gets strangled. Skip gets hacked with an axe to the head. Carol gets stabbed with a javelin in the stomach. Um, and then I guess, this happens at the end.
Well, did you say Nancy?
Oh, no, I did not. Nancy, I skipped over that one. Nancy fell and then she got forced into a cesspit and drowned.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, that was. Uh, um, so then Marty ends up killing all the former classmates.
Hmm.
But then it's like, was it all a dream?
Yeah, I think it.
Because it's like he wakes up screaming and he's in a psych ward and they're talking about skin grafts and everything, and he kills the nurse that was talking to him.
Hmm.
And then he stabs the doctor in the eye with a syringe.
Yeah. So technically, the only person to die was the doctor, if he
Yeah.
died.
Well, the nurse, because he strangled her.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But yeah, speaking of which, the weird ending. Probably one of my biggest issues with this movie was when they started making the bodies disappear,
Yeah.
because that really made things weird and there was no reason for it. When we watched the movie Identity, there was at least a purpose for it. Like
Yeah.
it explained itself, where with this, there was no logical reason for it.
Yeah. The
There,
only thing I can really think of is it's like Marty didn't actually do all these kills. He dreamed it.
yeah, but
So,
oh, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just going to say, so like maybe that detail wasn't paid attention to when he was dreaming about his revenge.
Well, the thing that doesn't make sense though then is that the janitor's body never disappeared. Did you notice that? Because
Oh, yeah.
Nancy or Carol, one of them was running around and then they discovered his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that really didn't make sense. It's like,
And if it
okay,
was all just a dream, then why did he kill the janitor? What did he do?
yeah, exactly. And honestly, the janitor didn't need to be there for any reason. Like he didn't add anything. He didn't, all it was one more kill and
Yeah,
it wasn't even that good.
no, and it was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh man, why did they have to kill that guy? And it made you think of, oh, it was good to you, Mikey.
I was thinking that too.
Like, still not over the fact that Rob Zombie had to kill Danny Trejo.
I know. That was probably one of the saddest deaths in all the Halloweens.
Yeah, for sure. That and the dog in the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always sad when nobody wants to see you kill a dog. Kill all the people you want, but kill a
Don't
dog and people get upset.
don't do kill a dog. Speaking of that, real quick, not to get off subject, but you talked about killing dogs in movies.
Yeah,
Um, when they were preparing for the John Wick movies,
yeah.
the first John Wick, you know the premise of the story: somebody kills his dog,
Yeah, yep. I
that whole
saw the
thing.
first one. I saw the first two.
Okay. Well, they were screen testing it. And so they have the little surveys that you fill out afterwards.
Yeah,
And so they did the survey like, hey, was it unreasonable the concept of the amount of violence that John Wick went into after they killed his dog? Like, do you think that that's just like completely unreasonable? Like, how do you feel about it, kind of a thing? And I want
yeah,
to say, like, they said guys were at like 60%, saying like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that like it seems like it fits, it's a reasonable thing to have in the movie. And then
yeah,
women were at like 90%, where they said like, yeah, if you kill the dog, like kill everybody.
yeah.
Uh, just made me think of that. I thought that was
Uh,
funny.
yeah. Yeah, never kill the dog. So some of the pranks in this, the one that really made me laugh was the water in the funnel down the pants,
Oh yeah.
where they're like, "Can you drop this quarter from the top of your head into this funnel?" And she puts it down the front of Skip's pants. And she's like, "You have to do it twice." And he does it once. And he's like, "Man, that was easy." And she's like, "Yeah, but you have to do it twice." And when he goes to do that, she takes like a pitcher of water and dumps it down the front of his pants.
Hmm.
Like that one made me laugh. And I'm like, okay, that's a prank that's like, you know, essentially harmless
Yeah.
and not here, let me maim you for life or completely emotionally scar you just
Yeah.
because you're a nerd. Yeah.
Well,
The
then,
80s, man.
speaking of the pranks, one thing that I had never heard of before, and I think is kind of a crock of crap. Um, I feel really old saying it that way, but April Fools ends at noon.
Yeah, that's who makes these rules?
I know. I was like,
It's
what?
like, oh, April Fool starts at midnight, and they're like, all we have to do is wait until noon because that's when April Fool's ends. And I'm like, what? And then they're like, Marty's been following the rules to a T. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, whoever made that rule up?
I don't know. I just Googled it, and you know how like AI gives you kind of like skims and gives you a summary real quick for you? It
Yeah.
says, by April Fool's Day rules, which I don't know where there are any rules for April Fool's Day, but apparently April Fool's Day rules are that you can do any pranks up until noon.
What?
After that, you're supposed to hold your hands up and come clean about your various pranks.
What?
I don't know. I think AI might be drunk.
Oh, now you're just being crazy. Yeah, I never heard that rule before. So, I mean, maybe it was real and they followed it. But yeah. Anything else you want me to get into trivia and facts? Because I got a decent amount of stuff.
Um, oh, let me see. I'm looking at a couple of my notes here.
Oh, the jester mask that Marty wears is pretty decent. I'll say that.
Yeah, that was menacing.
Original.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know, not really a lot to get into. A lot of cliches, but not surprising. Split up and do that whole thing. I think one thing that I had, and we talked about a little bit, but just to emphasize on the level of ridiculousness with this, was the girl. So the guy, when his stomach exploded, got blood all over the one girl, and then she went to go clean up. Like
Hmm.
right after he died, like didn't didn't go with everybody else to protect her. Like she just went off on her own. And instead of
Yeah.
just like washing her face and doing that, like her thought process was, let me get naked and go in the tub. And yeah, that was just outrageous and kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a
But
horror movie. Go
yeah,
figure.
we had to, somebody had to be naked.
Yeah. Well, and then a lot of the
Uh,
kills turned into like, oh, it had to be a perfect scenario. It had to be perfectly done. Like, how the heck was he going to know that she was going to get blood on her and that she was going to go in the tub and he was going to use acid? Like, how was he going to know that? So,
just did.
eventually down the road, it was just kind of like, okay, this seems to be a little bit too perfect and predictable. I started questioning, especially when the body started disappearing, if this was all happening in his head. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's, I guess maybe it wasn't like so much of a cliche back in the time. Um, but yeah, if someone tried to pull that now, you'd be like, oh, really?
Come on.
Yeah. So the first thing I have, and it's kind of a sad thing, Simon Scudamore,
Hmm.
who played Marty, he actually died by suicide by drug overdose on November 21st, 1984. So right after they wrapped up filming this. Um, and then so the writers and directors, George Dugdale and Peter Litton later said they were both worried that working on the film may have contributed to Simon Scudamore's suicide. However, Scudamore's funeral, his mother told Dugdale and Litton that their son had been dealing with depression and that one of his main sources of joy toward the end of his life was working on the film.
Hmm.
So, yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Uh, Caroline Munro, who played a high school student in the opening scenes, was actually 35 years old at the time of filming. And she does look older than the other girls, but not like, doesn't look old, but just more mature, I guess.
Yeah, I would have guessed that she was the oldest.
Yeah,
Not that old though.
yeah. The film was shot entirely in London, England,
Hmm.
and was predominantly British cast, adopting American accents,
Yeah, they did.
to give the impression that the film was set in the United States. On one scene, Skip tells the group that Marty will have to stop terrorizing them because April Fool's traditionally ends at noon. If one plays a prank after noon, they are deemed the April Fool. Unbeknownst to the filmmakers, this tradition is followed in the UK, but not in the United States, where April Fool's is an all-day event. So there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I knew I had something in the trivia about
The stupid British always ruining everything.
it.
This is why we revolted.
This is why we dumped your tea.
April
Uh,
Fools. Ah.
yeah. Uh, so the film's working title was April Fool's Day, but the title was changed after Paramount Pictures acquired the name rights for the movie April Fool's Day in 1986, released the same year.
Hmm.
A significant portion of Harry Manfredini's score in this film is from his previous work on Friday the 13th film series.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little obvious at times.
Yeah, there was one that was way obvious.
Not the bum, 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 bum song. Carol's overlong chase scene toward the end was added during filming when the directors realized their 90-page script would only come to about 75 minutes. The sequence was largely improvised on the spot, and I thought it was pretty decent.
I thought it was all right, but it was drug out. Like,
It was a little long, but like I don't know, it was decent.
yeah, it wasn't really the worst thing. I was getting a little bothered by the fact that she was outrunning this guy in high heels, though.
She's just classy enough.
Yeah.
So Carolyn Monroe and the director George Dugdale were secretly dating at the time of filming. They later married and had two daughters. The
Hmm.
couple remained married until Dugdale's passing in January of 2020.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's a long time.
Hmm.
The interior of the high school was a condemned grammar school set to be demolished. Lockers had to be added since English schools rarely have lockers. But the filmmakers were permitted to set off explosives and set the building on fire since it was scheduled to be demolished anyway. The exterior of the high school was shot in an abandoned mental asylum, which has since been renovated and turned into a luxury apartment building. Yikes.
Didn't they
Could
do
you
that in Traverse
imagine?
City?
I don't know, dude.
I feel like they did something like that in Traverse City.
I would not want to live in an abandoned mental asylum that was turned into an apartment building.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah, hard no.
How about no?
The location used for the exterior was a school, um, also featured in Adam Ant's music video for Goody Two Shoes,
Hmm.
which Caroline Munro coincidentally makes an appearance.
Ah,
So I don't know if you noticed, but I definitely noticed the multiple times I've seen this movie. When Carol's talking on the phone with her manager, the manager has a poster of pieces on his wall in his office.
yes, I did see that.
And I'm very jealous of that poster. Uh, um, so after, so when Simon Scudamore, who played Marty, died of an intentional drug overdose shortly after filming, um, when additional footage of Marty as the jester mask wearing killer needed to be shot, the film's writer and director Mark Ezra took over the role.
Hmm.
And the last thing I got, this is one of the weirdest uh, budget and box offices I've ever found.
Okay.
So this movie had a $2.1 million budget,
Whoa.
and the only box office numbers I could find is that it made $90,000 in the box office from April 24th to 27th. So like the first weekend it made $90,000,
Hmm.
but I don't have any other numbers.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that was all I could find, but I guess $90,000, that's not too bad in the 80s.
In one
But
week.
not even a week, 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But grades, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think those are?
4.8.
5.3.
Oh, well, they'll jump up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomato critic 60%.
Dude, it's a 0.
What? No.
I'm
Like what?
I'm
One
I
person
don't
graded it?
know how. Like I checked multiple times, like this is just not loading right. Because usually if there's no score for it, it's just blank. But it says 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's weird.
Then we got an audience score.
Um, 65.
34. Like, why
What?
are people so harsh on this movie?
I don't know. That is weird.
So our grades, guess I'll go first. Uh, I enjoy this one. It's kind of like, I talked about before, and I've talked about on Slasher Quest that I consider there's different tier levels almost like those, you know, those tier ranking videos that people make for slasher movies, where you got your top tier is Halloween and probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Black Christmas, movies like that, like all-time classics.
Hmm.
And then you got your second tier, which is like your sleepaway camps, your My Bloody Valentine, stuff like that. I would consider this one of the better third tier slasher movies,
Okay.
where it's lower budget, not as many people know about it. You might recognize the VHS cover art, but feel like it does quite a few things well. Like the head characters, they fleshed a decent amount of them out. You have a sympathetic killer, an interesting setting, and imaginative kills
Hmm.
that aren't. One of my biggest beefs with the Scream franchise is almost all the kills are done by just like a butcher knife,
Okay.
and it just gets kind of dull towards the end. Where um, this was imaginative, and it was you know no two kills were the same basically. So I appreciate it for that. Um, it does have its slow parts. Like I said, it took about 40 minutes for someone to die, which is crazy for a slasher movie. But so that knocked it down a little bit for me. And it, for as good as I think it is, like for rewatchability, I have to be kind of in the mood to watch this movie. So I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I feel like it's a solid slasher. Um, that really like fans of slasher movies should watch. That maybe have never heard of it, but
Rock.
what do you think?
I was right in that range too. I gave the Prowler a 4 out of 5, and I do think the Prowler is better than this.
Yeah,
Nothing outrageously better, just more complete, put together in some ways. So yeah, it was a little slow. It was a little clunky. I mean, nothing that I would critique it too harsh on. I will say one thing that we haven't talked about that I have here for kind of my end is that it did have, uh, I don't know if you want to call it a classic horror movie trope, but the issue that comes up quite often of not knowing how and when to end the movie. Um,
yes, yeah. I thought about that too, and I'm like, Caleb's gonna say like they should have ended this earlier.
yeah, they had about 5 different times they could have ended it. Like,
Yeah, they should have ended it after Marty killed everybody in that school.
yeah, I think so too. I think they should just ended it. The killer got him, and then fade to black. Something whatever he goes on like the killer won. That's it. Because yeah, they could have ended it. Hold on, I think I wrote this down. Hold on, where's this? They could have ended it where, um, well, actually, they could have ended it a couple different places. They could have actually ended it where Carol was the final girl who survived because
Hmm.
she kind of threw him out the second story window and he landed in the gym. And they could have had where he died from the fall, or she could have actually
Yeah,
stabbed him with the javelin if she didn't suck at throwing it.
yeah. She missed him by like 5 feet.
um, but then they could have also ended it when she died. When he
Hmm.
stabbed her, they could have just, like we just said, could have ended it there. Or if they wanted to carry on a little bit further, they could have ended it when he had the mental breakdown and he was like seeing all the dead students
Yeah.
afterwards on just being like, oh, he won, he killed everybody, but he's going to be tormented for the rest of his life, kind of thing. Like he's going crazy.
Hmm.
Or they could have ended it right when he woke up in the hospital on being like, oh, it was all just a dream. But then they went with the final ending, which is when he started attacking people in the hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, pretty classic. You don't know when to stop.
Yeah, I would have went with after he killed everybody, end it there, because there's not a lot of slashers where everybody dies.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think I would have appreciated that more. I don't know if I set it up to this point, but yeah, it's a good movie. I wound up landing at 3.5
Right.
out of 5, so I could watch it again, and yeah, altogether entertaining movie. So
Rock. I agree. So next time we're gonna be covering kind of an infamous Halloween ripoff, but I would consider it one of the better Halloween ripoffs, and that is going to be the 1981 slasher movie Final Exam, which I have the novelization of, and I haven't read all of it. Just have a hard time finding time to read, but yeah, so I'll have a little bit of the novel to talk about. It gives more depth to characters and shenanigans and all that. So, if you guys are liking the show, please subscribe and share. You can find us on social media. We are on pretty much every platform. Check out YouTube, check out TikTok, check out our Redbubble page. And if you want merch or anything like that, and come by next time, we're going to be talking about Final Exam. And until then, as always, be kind and rewind.